ridiculous.
Well, here's the thing.
Maybe. Sometimes.
Tell me about this. I want to know more.
Oh, yeah. No.
Holy cow.
We've had a lot of fun.
So, Nicole, did I see on Facebook that your daughter went back to school today? They're starting school on August 9th? What the heck?
Can you believe it?
I can't.
Well, they lengthen the time of school breaks during the school year.
Yeah.
So that shortens the summertime.
Wow.
But so they actually ended June 9th.
Yeah.
And
Wow.
then they're back today.
Oh my
gosh. And she's in grade 11, so she's a junior this year.
Wow. But I mean, going back to school in August in the desert of California seems like a little extra cruelty. I mean, how hot is it there today?
What's this? Haven't checked the. I mean, it's over 90. That's
Yes.
a given. I haven't checked the exact temperature. I'll have to follow up with you. But yeah, and it's too hot for PE basically. So they spend the first month indoors. It just makes no sense. The air conditioner is running.
Yeah.
Full blast.
I
don't get it. There must be other financial reasons for doing this.
There must be. I mean, I remember in my Southern Californian youth, we started in September, I'm pretty sure. And even then, we were like frying eggs on the sidewalk as a science experiment. It was so hot. And I, of course, was wearing my, sweater and wool skirt that I had bought from the, 17 fall fashion thing. And it was like, 100 degrees out. But first day of school, you wear your finest fall fashions, no matter how hot it is.
Of course you do. Well, and that's all that's in the store because starting at the beginning of August, they put, fall clothing out there. And you're like, are you kidding me? No, I'm not going to wear jeans and a hoodie.
Really, ever, It's like, it's like, in California, is there ever really a wool skirt and sweater season? Possibly not. But
never.
Sometimes when it's raining and it gets down to the low 70s, high 60s,
low 70s.
You cuddle up in your down jacket.
Well, I was just looking at my weather app here, and it's going up to 98 today.
Oh my gosh. Happy back to school.
Tomorrow is 100. So yeah, delightful.
That's
simply delightful.
Ridiculous. When do your kids go back, Catherine?
They go back on September 1st. Because that is the law here that no starting before September 1st. So even when September 1st is the Friday before Labor Day, they go back on September 1st.
That is hilarious.
And my high schooler, because she's not a freshman, she only goes for half the day. The second half. So, this is all making a lot of sense.
That's going to be a useful day of education right there.
Absolutely.
You're going to get a lot done.
But we got her schedule, and she didn't end up with the gym class that she thought that she wanted because it got filled up. But we were able to switch her into a different gym class. So she's taking... It's called Outdoor and Individual Pursuits, and it includes kayaking in the pool, and then snowshoeing, orienteering, rock climbing.
Cool.
I know.
I would do that.
Wait,
They have woods behind the school, and they're going to go orienteering in the woods. Oh, winter survival is part of the class.
Wow.
Oh my.
Yeah.
That's cool.
So this is like a full year class. She's not going to be doing winter survival in September.
It's a second semester class, so it's going to start in January. And trust me, will be plenty of winter.
Not a lot of snowshoeing going on right now.
No, but in January through beginning of April, they have winter.
That's hardcore.
I know. I thought it was pretty cool.
My daughter's friend at her high school, they offer yoga for PE.
Oh, I would like that school.
All sorts of different interesting ways of being physically active. It's so much better than running the track.
I was always awful at gym, but whatever semester we had folk dancing, I rocked it, man. 1A on my PE all year. That was it. If I could have had folk dance all year, that would have been my idea.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, the nice thing is that, like, I mean, when I was a kid, I don't remember getting any choice. Like, you know, this was gym, and like this week you're doing folk dancing, and next week you're doing whatever. Yeah. But they let them pick, you know, like last year she took swimming voluntarily, which I can't believe, but she took swimming for her gym class. And, you know, they have dance, they have net games, which I guess is like volleyball and badminton and tennis and whatever. They have lots of different choices, so it's pretty cool.
Yeah. I think maybe towards the end of high school we had electives for gym, because I seem to feel like I took a golf class one quarter that was, you know, just standing on the grass in the back of the school hitting golf balls. But if I could have taken folk dance every time.
Just think, it might have been
my memories of physical education would have been much better. Instead of the flying somersault, which was my most, as far as I could get in gymnastics, which was...
That's pretty good.
No, okay. It's not. It's running like you're going to do a flip and then stopping and doing a somersault and then standing back up. Ta-da! I got a Mercy D from the teacher, I think, because everybody was laughing at me.
That's too bad.
Traumas of my physical education youth chapter.
Yes.
562.
Well, maybe this is where we start for the week, right?
Yes, take me away from the drama and the memories.
Well, hello and welcome to Parenting Roundabout, a weekly podcast about the things that parents are talking about, obsessing about, and complaining about right now. I'm Catherine Haleko, and with me today are somersaulter Terri Morrow.
Hello.
And Nicole was like chasing bears or something for her PE, I think.
Yeah, something like that.
Snowmobiling,
that's it. So today on the podcast, we're going to talk about our kids' summer reading on our Friday speed round. We will shout out some stuff we like on the Roundabout Roundup, and we'll do some shameless self-promotion. But first, we're wondering if you ever feel like your life is actually a TV show, and probably not a good one.
Yes. One of those HBO dramas where everything is awful. No. I was actually thinking about this a while ago. I think a couple of podcasts ago I talked about the difficulty of getting a straight story from my son, and that he is sometimes an unreliable narrator, that he doesn't necessarily always know exactly what the right story is himself, and so finding out what it is difficult. And it made me wish that I was in the sort of TV show like Columbo, where the detective knows who done it from the beginning and just has to kind of figure out how to make them confess it. I guess the audience knew it. I guess Columbo didn't, but it seemed like he always knew, and he was just getting them to get around to confessing. That's the kind of show I would like to be in. And instead I'm in one of these shows, these detective shows, where every 15 minutes, everything you knew is upended. You know, you think you got your guy. No, he couldn't have possibly done it for this reason. It's got to be somebody else. Oh, I know it's this person. No, it's not that person either. And then you get to 5 minutes before the end of the show, and it turns out that it's somebody else completely different. This is the sort of life I feel like I have now. That you can never be 100% sure of anything. That there's just going to be twists for the sake of twists. You think you got it figured out, and it turns out you had a bad piece of information. It turns out one of your informants was unreliable. It turns out that somebody was in Montreal at the time. It's just there's no figuring stuff out. So I feel like I'm trapped in a bad detective show a lot of the time. Not a bleak, nihilistic detective show on a pay cable channel, but just a good old procedural that has to keep you coming back after the commercial break. And so is constantly mixing it up. Do you guys ever have this feeling like you're stuck maybe in like a bad family sitcom or, a heartfelt family drama that you really wish you could bring a little humor to? Or is it just me that thinks these ways when I'm trying to procrastinate from things I should be doing?
I think for me it's the sitcom, where like yesterday when I drove my daughter all the way to the high school, and already that day it was going to be a minimum of 4 trips back and forth. And then I'm pulling in the garage and I get the phone call. I forgot my inhaler. I really, really need it. So here I go, like, run upstairs, find the inhaler, bring it by the thing, and it was like every hour on the hour, practically, I was driving somebody someplace. Like I think my show would be like a mom who is also like an Uber driver because she might as well. Like, you spend the whole day in the car, you might as well pick up a few paying customers along the way.
That's right. There you go. Jerry Seinfeld had that show about being in cars with comedians or something like that. Yeah. There you go. You're like moms in cars with kids.
With inhalers and tennis rackets.
Exactly. Or it's your own version of carpool karaoke. Go. Tell James Corden you're available. And we'll pick up any celebrities he might have in mind on your way.
Any celebrities who happen to be in my little corner of the world. And
you do with local celebrities,
That's true.
Well, I feel like I'm living a family drama. Serious family drama.
Uh-oh. Are you stuck in This Is Us? Do you like weep uncontrollably just from time to time?
I'm stuck in the I don't even know if it's This Is Us. It's more I don't even know. I'm trying to think of a TV show. So this is where I'm at, and then you can tell me what you think. Okay, so I've got the teenage daughter that is an emotional wreck 96% of the day. And comes down the stairs complaining about me either micromanaging her life or her friends, or she doesn't have anything to wear today. So I'm dealing with that. Yes. And then I've got my son who is a walking disaster. I mean, he's...
But you say that lovingly.
I say that lovingly. And he's just, we're constantly keeping him propped up and helping him move forward. And, whether it's finances or work or
the car crash, stolen car.
That's right. You have had some dramatic things.
It's one thing after another with him. And now, we're trying to figure out how to, what he's going to do when he graduates. So it's all this like serious drama with him. And then his girlfriend, same with her. She had her car stolen last week. It's been like
it does sound like you got material there for like a weekly hour on CW.
Yeah, exactly. And then I'm kind of like the mom in the midst of it all who's putting out fires left, right, and center, and then, throwing myself on the couch at 10 o'clock at night.
I think you get yourself 6 more kids and you got 8 is enough. It's you got some good plots going there.
So it's constantly, and then my husband who works a lot is often not around, but when he is around, he's trying to manage his life. So we have a lot of drama in our family right
now. Yeah, you got some good plots there. We got to put together a pilot.
Right.
After we do your Coming to America documentary for PBS, which we discussed some podcasts ago, we're going to have to get going on the family drama.
Or we could just tie it all in, starting with us coming to America.
There you go.
Yeah.
Well, actually, even before, because the drama stared before.
Well, it could be like This Is Us. You could be flashbacking constantly to parallels in your youth, like trying to get across the wilderness to your high school in your older days, and then flash forward to your daughter trying to find the right outfit to wear.
Or us trying to get across the border.
Right. Or trying to get down the freeway to get to school. So much drama.
I'm a family drama, full on.
Is there a kind of show you would like to be that you are not? I would like to have some of the dialogue, like from The Lady in Speechless, I think I've said before.
Oh, yeah.
I covet, actually both parents, they got great lines, you know, that really put things into perspective and that make things, you know, eventually come around by the end of the episode. I would like an end of an episode, you know? It's like, there's never an end of an episode. We're like, just go. We're like a reality show, you know? It just goes on for however. It would be nice if, like, you know, every certain compact amount of time you came to a resolution.
Right.
And some things kind of carried on, but you get a satisfying resolution every regularly paced amount of time. It wouldn't have to be 30 minutes because that would be exhausting. But, you know, once a month, can I just get a
nice
stuff comes together,
tidy resolution?
We have a laugh together as a family, or we realize we have surmounted this problem. I could use that. I need that, like, sitcom resolution on a monthly basis.
That sounds
I'm not
like
asking for a
good plan.
How about you guys? Do you see elements of TV shows that you wish you could get a hold of?
How about
wardrobe?
like one of the transformation shows, like, you know, Terri, your bathroom would, over the course of a 22-minute show, transformed into something amazing.
I don't even care if it takes a month, as long as it winds up being something amazing at the end. I'm worried that it will be something not so amazing.
Well, I know, because on those shows, I think they cut a lot of corners.
I do hear that, yes. That
they do. My brother was part of one of those shows, and the behind the scenes is not
looks good for the camera.
We're going to have to hear more about this at some point.
I feel like I'm in the Love It or List It show where she gets her budget and goes to redo parts of your house and then comes and says, we found something that's going to cost basically twice what you've budgeted. Do you want to do it?
What should we do?
And your house will blow up if you don't. So would you like to sacrifice these other things you wanted or come up with the additional money? I feel like that's really true in pretty much every aspect of my life. Every time you think you're going to do something and you know how you're going to do it, she shows up and goes, we found something.
Not so much.
While we were painting the walls of your basement, we found that your furnace is about to explode. Yeah, we found lead, right. We found asbestos all throughout your home. We're going to have to knock it down and build it again.
for your $10,000 budget.
For your $10,000. List it.
You just reminded me of the Antiques Roadshow. Yeah. I want just the opposite, where I, like, find something in my attic.
Wouldn't that be nice?
Dust it off and think, this might be worth something. Yeah. And then I take it in and they say, wow, this is an incredibly rare 1863, Civil War, relic. And we'll pay you $1 billion
to take it off your hands right now.
I know it's in my attic. I don't think that's going to be happening to me.
You have some vintage computers up there that maybe someday somebody is going to want those.
Vintage computers and very old china and yellowed copies of everything I've had published and Christmas decorations.
You just never know, Terri, when somebody is going to...
You never know.
Nothing in my attic.
Decide that they really need that vintage computer.
I guess I have a lot of albums. I always think that maybe somebody would want my record album collection. That's quite large and has been sitting in a basement for a long time, so I'm sure it's in pristine condition. But I think my tastes don't match up with those of record collectors. Anybody want to buy a bunch of old Barry Manilow albums?
Well, maybe those are harder to find. You never know.
That's always possible, but I have not. I have not kept them in sealed vaults with, the barometer and all that stuff. They're just sitting crammed together on a shelf in my basement. But you never know. Yeah. Antiques Roadshow, come on down, take a look.
Yeah,
sounds
that's
like a
what
plan.
I'm thinking.
Yeah, you know what else I have in my basement? Lots of books that I've read for college that I just paid too much for to get rid of them back in the days when you couldn't sell them back. And books that my children have read over the years that I really would have liked to have possibly burned, but we don't do that. So, So I think our Friday speed round is going to have something to do with that.
Nicole, it's you.
Lobbing to you, Nicole.
Yeah. So,
graceful segue.
Speaking of...
You should put in red on the script.
Yeah.
We'll segue. Don't play with your phone. That's what I do. Oh, wait. Oh, my turn. So, Nicole, what are your kids reading this summer?
Good question. Yeah. What are my kids reading this summer? Let me think. Well, my daughter actually read 2 or 3 chapters of her AP American History course textbook.
Wow.
And that's about as far as she got. She does not read if she doesn't have to.
Yeah.
If it's not on a computer screen, it's not happening.
Well, would she read an ebook if you put it on her phone?
Only if it has audio to go along with it.
Well, have her just listen to the soundtrack of Hamilton a bunch of times. She'll be all ready for
She'll be ready for
American history. There you go.
Yeah.
If any high school teacher is not using Hamilton to teach American history at this point in time, they're not paying attention.
They're missing out.
I wonder if her teacher will. I'll have to keep an eye on that.
And there's cursing in rap, so,
Yeah. My son is reading graduate admissions information.
Oh my.
There are not a lot of books for,
how to kind of thing.
Well, yeah, or just even in general in our family right now, there just are not a lot of books lying around.
Okay. Not in a
We're all too
reading
busy
phase.
trying to manage our dramatic lives. So, unfortunately, my kids are not reading this summer. Not really.
They didn't have
anything
reading
fun.
lists? Your daughter didn't have a reading list from high school that she had to read?
Well,
Mine
so
always
she's
did.
not doing AP English or AP Lang, so she didn't have any summer homework for English.
Okay.
Because she's a math science girl.
All right.
But she does have to do this AP U.S. history class, and that's why she had to read a couple of the chapters. But
in our district, at least when my kids were in school, everybody had summer reading stuff they had to do.
No.
And it was miserable way to spend the summer when you have kids who are reluctant readers and the assigned reading is over their heads, and so you have to explain it to them.
Yeah.
Fun. Have a good summer,
not
Mom.
here.
Catherine,
They have enough to do. They've got enough.
I agree.
My daughter, her last day before school, her last day of summer break, her and her friends were up studying and doing homework, and of course they could have done it over the summer, but who wants to do homework over the summer?
Yeah.
But they spent the whole day yesterday cramming in all their summer homework. Just miserable.
Well, whose fault is
Not
that?
a good way to turn reading on, kids onto reading.
Right.
Yeah, well, that's true. That's true. Although some kids enjoy it. I guess if you enjoy reading, it's an easy gig.
Yeah.
But for those who struggle. Catherine, did your daughter have reading assignments this summer?
No, she didn't have
Wow.
any reading.
So this is a really bad speed round question.
Well, what she's
Thank you,
reading, what she's reading is the driver's ed manual.
Yes.
The how to drive book.
Yeah.
Although she started, on the first day of class, they said, okay, for tonight you read this 30-page chapter or whatever. So of course she's like, I'm gonna read 30 pages. I'm like, okay, that'll take 30 minutes. But then the next day she went to class and she found out that they basically just went over exactly what they had read. So then she's like, well, I don't need to read this anymore because we're just going to go through it line by line in class. So
no need for pre-reading.
no, at least in her mind. So yeah, there's that. And then my son, he didn't have any assigned reading either.
Man, you guys all got it easy.
I know. He did decide that he wanted to pick up, maybe it was last summer. I can't remember when we started it, but we were reading Oliver Twist together.
Oh, little light.
Yeah, and he
Little light Dickens.
he noticed it and he said, let's do that. And I said, do you want to start where we left off? Which was like 100 pages. No, let's start over because I don't remember. I'm like, okay.
Just watch the musical.
Start over.
He likes musicals, right?
Yeah. And we have heard that song, just a one song on the Broadway channel, Oliver, that song. So,
yes.
So we're reading it and we're kind of enjoying the sarcasm that it just drips with. So that's kind of fun. So that's what we're doing.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, you see, my theme here is forget the reading, just watch musicals, basically,
Hamilton,
or listen to them.
Oliver.
This is
Actually,
this is what I would have liked to have been able to do, but my kids don't like musicals either.
For a while there in the spring, he wanted to read War and Peace. So, yeah, no kidding. So
No, he does not.
He did for a good while. He got...
It's a great show-off book, but it's not easy to read, and it's really boring.
He got maybe 200 pages in. But that Broadway show, Natasha Pierre and the Great Comet, that is based on like a tiny sliver of that book, and he really wants to go see that. So.
Yes, I would guess that is infinitely more entertaining than reading the book.
Yes.
I read Anna Karenina when I was actually in Russia, waiting to adopt. It was very appropriate because it felt similarly endless. But and just, tragic and hopeless and not a fun read. But, great works of literature, I have to say, because my English major diploma is staring at me as I talk. But great works of literature. Well, speaking of great works of literature, the thing my daughter is reading, my kids are adults now and so not constricted by reading lists and me forcing them to read things that they have to read for school. So I don't think my son really reads anything at this point in his life. He has some sort of massive project involving moving photos around on his phone that seems to take most of his non-working time. Anytime you go into his room and ask him something, it's like, I'm busy! I'm doing something! And I ask, what's he doing? He's working on his photo albums, which he seems to have. I think he just downloads random pictures of cars until there's thousands of them, and then he has to delete some.
Then he has to organize them. And
Exactly. But my daughter has always liked chicken soup books.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
Chicken Soup for the Soul and the many, 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 unbelievably many offshoots from that.
Yes.
And she enjoys buying them. She enjoys sitting with them. I am not 100% convinced that she is actually reading them, but she swears to me that she is, because she was always reading. Reading has always been difficult for her and not a fun activity or something that she particularly enjoys or pursues. So I have my suspicions, but you know what? They are short little essays and they are heavy in human interest. And so possibly, something that she would actually want to read. But that is the big book around our house right now, are all manner of chicken soup books, which she has purchased with her Amazon Prime membership that she got accidentally while buying chicken soup books. Chicken soup for the not paying attention when you buy things soul is what we need. But you know what? I'm happy. I've always been I don't care what my kids read. If they find something they want to read, I will read it with them. They should read it. If it's a Seventh Heaven novelization, which we went through for a while. I think we read, Full House novelizations. We read iCarly novelizations. If there's a children's TV show and they made a book out of it, we've probably read it. But you know what? It's words going from the eye to the brain.
Yeah.
So I'm not picky. So if she wants to read or merely just purchase chicken soup books, that's, I'm not going to complain, even though I'm really glad she doesn't want me to read them with her.
I like those books. Some of them are pretty good.
I'm sure they are. They just all look to me like the kind of thing I would have written in a cubicle early in my career.
I love the perspective you give us. It's so grounded in reality.
I have many, many, many things like that in my early career. I was, in addition to moving a lot in my 20s, I had lots of weird little jobs. But
that's awesome. Well, on that note, that's what our kids are and are not reading right now. And we'll move on. But remember, you can hear a new speed round every Monday through Thursday.
That's right. And now we're going to bring you some of the things that we've read not our kids, but us, maybe. We'll see. That's the intro. Things we've read or seen or used recently. So who knows? It'll be a surprise. So, but these are things that we want to shout out and share with you. Terri, what is yours?
Yeah, I had an interesting experience last night. I was, all of us were home. I was sitting doing some work, as is my way, and all of a sudden I get a text message from Chase, which we have a credit card with, saying, we have stopped a charge of $340-something from a vendor I did not recognize. Did you make this charge? Text yes for one, text 2 for no. And I'm like, well, I don't recognize that. And while I'm reading that, another text comes up saying, there have been more charges to this vendor that we have stopped. Hold on for more information. And then another text comes up with information on this second transaction. So I text back 2 for both of them, that we did not make them. Everybody's home. All our credit cards are home. Mm-hmm. We're not out spending money. So, they text me back saying, okay, we've stopped everything. You need to call us to arrange for new cards. And I did, had a very nice chat with somebody. And as I'm chatting with this young man about, we have to get new cards and we're not going to be responsible for any of the fraud and all that stuff, this person who has our card number is still trying to make charges. Wow. He keeps going, oh, they just passed it through again. And he told me that I guess what they do now is they steal your number and then they stamp it onto a card so that they can swipe it. Oh. It's not just they're going to be using it online, which I didn't know they could do that. So somebody kept trying to use it even as I was talking to the fraud guy. But it's just like, this is one of those wonders of technology things, because I can remember back when you would get your bill in the mail and you would see something there that wasn't yours, and you would call up the credit card company and you would argue with them and try to prove that it wasn't yours. And maybe if you were lucky, they would take it off. And now, before I even realize there's been a charge, I get a text saying, hey, we caught this person. This wasn't you, right? And they're on top of it and stopping it already. Wow. I think that's really cool. So, kudos to Chase and thank you. And also I've had Citibank has done the same thing. And occasionally they stop a purchase that I've actually made. but it's not that frequent that it's like, get your finger off the trigger there, credit card people. It's never been a problem. It's always been, we could just have the person put it through again. We say, get the text. We say, yes, we made that charge. They say, have the merchant, the merchant put it through again, and they do, and everything's fine. So I'm really, that's one of those things that makes me say, what a wonderful technological world we're living in, that your credit card company catches the person while they're still using your card and lets you know, don't worry about it, we're on it. So I don't know if they have an algorithm that flags suspicious action or if there's certain merchants that thieves tend to use or what, but it's a miracle. I'm very, very grateful not to have to do it after the fact.
Awesome.
All right, so that's a crisis averted. How about you, Nicole? What do you have to share and round up today?
Well, I had something in mind, and I even put the link to it on our document about a minute ago. And then something else caught my eye.
All righty.
And I thought,
we're what? Flexible that way.
Because, as you know, I'm Canadian.
Be heard.
And we just got our August issue of Rolling Stone in the mail.
I know what you're going to say.
Guess who is on the cover?
Yeah.
Our beloved Justin Trudeau, the Prime Minister of Canada. So I'm going to shout out Rolling Stone for putting Justin on the cover. I haven't read the article yet. I'm sure it's going to be good.
Doesn't even matter.
It doesn't matter.
Are you going to put the cover up on your bedroom wall,
I feel like a teen girl who's fangirling here. But, it's not often that Americans will publicly recognize a Canadian figure other than for doing bad things, like Justin Bieber. So I think this is a pretty big accomplishment. There we go. Rolling Stone.
Justin Bieber, by the way, cost my son 2 days of work by canceling his tour. But that's okay. Yeah. Happier Prime Minister is getting the cover.
You got the cover.
On the cover of the Rolling Stone.
Yes. So that's my shout out.
All right. And I'm going to shout out something from a magazine too, something that I did already share with my podcast friends here, from the New Yorker, the Shouts and Murmurs, which is their humor column, which is, always has funny stuff in it. But they had like a cartoon basically that was achievement stickers for freelancers. Yes. And they say things like, I got paid, or I went outside, I put on pants, like all these things.
I remember to eat.
Yeah, I remember to eat. So these are all things that we could relate to very much. So we are shouting them out.
That's wonderful.
I've seen this in the past, like achievement merit badges for parents.
Right.
Yeah.
But I don't think I've seen the freelance one.
No, and it's one of those things that makes you realize that your experience is not just you. That,
right.
You see something and you felt every one of those things.
Right.
That's wonderful. They need to put that on like actual sticker paper immediately. Yes. I would buy a copy.
You could probably just stick it in your printer.
I might do that. They're adorable.
Yes. So that it will have a link to that at the New Yorker. So
excellent.
There y'all go.
And now we will give ourselves a sticker for finishing a podcast with our final segment today, where we are going to do a little shameless self-promotion and direct you to some things on our sites that we think you should take a look at. I'll start off on our Facebook page, which if you haven't looked at our Facebook page, go look us up. It's linked to from our show site at parentingroundabout.com. But I, at one point, very ambitiously was putting up all of the quote graphics I create on our Facebook page in photo albums. I did this faithfully for a while, and then I didn't. And, once you stop doing that, it mushrooms in your head because you can't now just go back and do it. You have to do all the weeks you missed. And as it becomes months and months, it just seems like too big a job to even contemplate. So I finally just said, you know what? I'm just going to start again and go forward. So once again, you can find the quote graphics from our episodes in an album on Facebook. You will notice, perhaps, if you scroll down far enough, a gap between November and June. Don't judge.
Just be happy with what you get.
Be happy they're back for as long as I can manage to do it.
Hey.
Catherine, what are you shouting out today?
I just had a piece in readersdigest.com about summer first aid. And it was interesting because I got this assignment right after my son got a freakish allergic reaction to something. One day he had this little pink mark on his cheek. It wasn't raised, it wasn't itchy, it was just as if he maybe slept on something funny, just a little tiny pinkness. And then the next day it was dark pink and it started developing a blister. And mind you, this is right on his face,
Oh.
So, we went to the doctor and she asked, actually it was a physician assistant, and she asked a bazillion questions about what we could have been exposed to, because he happened to have mowed the lawn a couple days before and he got stung by a bee, but it wasn't in the same place. And there was a little mark where the bee sting, it was just super weird. And he had gone to camp in the woods, but this was over a week after he'd come back from camp. We never figured it out. And it developed.
Would have made a good TV show.
That's right.
You needed one of those TV diagnosticians.
That was
the
show I was in at that particular time. And it grew into this big blister right on his face. The size of a quarter almost. It was big.
Oh my gosh.
Anyway, he had to take steroids, which is, the worst. And he was pouncing off the walls and not sleeping. And anyway, So, so I did a piece about all kinds of summer first aid things to know, and I actually interviewed a physician assistant, and she was super helpful and nice. So that is at rd.com. And one thing you will learn is don't pee on a jellyfish sting, because that is a myth.
Important information.
Yes.
Nicole, what are you promoting?
Well, I actually put something on my blog the other day.
I saw that, and I shared it on the Friendship Circle Facebook page.
Did you? I didn't even notice that.
I did.
Thank you.
I did. It's very nice. Tell the people what it is.
Well, it is a graphic with a list of 7 signs that your child is in an inclusive class. So if you're not quite sure, just ask your child if he can name a classmate. Or ask your child if she goes out for recess at the same time as her friends.
Yeah.
So there's a quick list of...
good guidelines.
Yes.
To see if the school is trying to put one over on you.
I'm going to catch them.
They would
Which
never
they
do
probably
that.
are.
Never.
So yeah, that's on my inclusiveclass.com blog.
Excellent.
Mm-hmm.
And an attractive looking infographic it is.
Thank you. Thanks to Canva.
Nicely done.
Yeah,
Yay.
that's 2 Canva adjacent
That's 2
things.
Canva shout outs, because that's what I use to do our quote graphics. So
It is awesome.
nice service. We should give them a Roundabout Roundup extra
There we
shout
go.
out.
Thanks for making us look fabulous.
Yes.
That's right.
And not charging us.
That's right. Well, I think that's it for this week's episode of Parenting Roundabout. Am I right?
That is
We're
it.
done?
Yep.
Okay.
Move on.
We hope you enjoyed it and that you'll join us every week. You can listen to podcast episodes on parentingroundabout.com or download them from Apple Podcasts. Please subscribe so you get all of our podcasts and mini podcasts. You can also follow us on Twitter, where I am at Nicole Erdix, Terri is at Momitude, and Catherine is at C. Haleko. You can also follow the podcast on Twitter at Roundabout Chat, and look for us on Facebook, Pinterest, Tumblr, YouTube, and Instagram too. Best of all, stop by our podcast page at parentingroundabout.com and read recaps, find links on all the stories we mentioned, and talk back in the comments. Thanks to John Moran for providing our in and out music, and I wish everyone a great week.